What's up, my people? JaxB.TheRipper here. So I'm back on the camera phone because I don't feel like charging my battery to my Canon camera. Real quick, I wanted to show you guys Jackie Daniels. He's heading into brumation now. He's a little sleepyhead. If you guys don't know what brumation is, I don't think it happens with all reptiles. I mean, it just basically means once fall starts hitting, they start getting lethargic and tired. They don't want to eat anymore. It's not like hibernation where they need to eat. It's like they can't eat or else, you know, it rots inside or whatever. So he's just, and I feel bad because like since my mom died, I've just been so busy and I haven't spent enough time with him. So that's why I'm just gonna hug him until, yeah, because it's gonna be a good 3 or 4 months. He's gonna be just sleeping. So anyways, if you guys have seen the topic already, it's just basically, you know, dating metalheads. So a little background, I rarely date though. I think this was like my first official like metalhead kind of date. I don't know what to call it, like metalhead dating, what the hell. So anyways, just a quick little background. I hate dating. I really do. I don't do the apps thing. I've only done it a couple times, and I mean, it just ended up being one night stands. I just did not want to see the person again. It was just, you know, it's weird. Dating for me is like a chore. I don't like it. I've always been a person where I got to know them first and we always started off as friends, and then it just turned into something of a mess, which it ended up always being like that. So yeah, just a little backstory. I mean, and then I had a lot of the ones where it's like, oh, let's go to a show, and then it just ends up turning out to a date. They just didn't want to say it's a date. No, this was like full on, this is a date. So it happened not too long ago. Like I went on a couple of dates with this guy, and I want to talk a little bit about the differences between, you know, dating normies, I guess that's what we should call them. And what I mean by that is just like, you know, everyday people that listen to like the mainstream stuff. It could be either be rap or hip hop or pop or whatever. Hold on, let me put him back. Hold on. Basically people that don't understand the metal scene. So obviously majority of the guys I dated were not metalheads. It's just, I don't know, I've always told people I don't think metalheads are attracted to me. They go for the goth girls, and I'm not goth, and I don't want to be goth. And I noticed that's like a huge trend right now, like goth everything, and not me. It's just, you know, I mean, I've always done the dark eyeshadow and the dark lips, but it's that doesn't mean I'm goth or anything. So telling you, just like dating normies, it's a little bit more difficult to talk to about music. And I will admit it, when I look at it now, back at it, it was like, God, they're so boring, like, you know. And you were to think at least like, oh, well, they were a nice person at least. I was like, no, I didn't even get that. So it was just in general, you know, you're limited to do stuff with them. At least I feel like it, you know, because a lot of my interest revolves about music. Because I remember I went out with this one guy. Let's just say he was a huge Bad Bunny fan, and I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was. And I'm sorry, it just sounded like he was kind of gay over the guy, but it was just, you know, he was into that kind of stuff. And I remember one time he asked me, he's like, well, what do you like doing? Like, I was like, well, a lot of my stuff that I like to do is like investments. I like going to shows and collecting music, you know, and just listening to new types of music and stuff like that. It revolves around that. If it's not that, it's more on the beauty side. You know, obviously the guy was not going to relate to that. So, you know, and I was telling him that, or I'm always doing research about my witchcraft and all that stuff, right? So it's stuff like that I primarily do. So obviously I'm not going to take a normie to a metalhead show because I don't feel like babysitting him. You know, I feel like I'm going to babysit them. Sometimes the guys don't mind mosh pits no matter what they are. Like I know I've had friends that said that they dated normies and they're like, yeah, you know, my man isn't into my music, but when it comes to the mosh pit, he was down. So and that's great, because I know my oldest brother, he was like that too. It was like he didn't really care for the music, but sometimes he'll go to these shows because he loved to mosh. That's what he told me. So yeah, sometimes, you know, if they're okay with that. But the guys that I dated in the past, they looked a little dainty. I mean, which is funny because they were really machismos, but they kind of seemed dainty when it came to that kind of shit. And I'm not a mosher myself. I'm not good at it. I've tried it. I'm terrible at it. So it really felt like there wasn't much to talk about with them, and I didn't realize that till I actually had like a date with like a metalhead. And the guy was real cool. Like, and in case you guys are wondering, it was like, is that the guy who gave you the hickey and you showed it on your stories? I was like, yes, that's the guy who gave me the hickey, and I showed it in my stories. So in my stories on Instagram, you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys know what I'm talking about. Because I was like, holy shit, I gotta hide this for work now. So basically the guy had found me through the Powerwolf show. So if you guys don't remember the Powerwolf show I went to in March, I have like a video on it and everything. He found me through, like, you know, the pins that where you guys could like just like tag your location. I mean, so yeah, he found me through a tag through the show. So for those of you guys that don't know, I mean, I know I have some people that watch me that are not metalheads, to my surprise. So basically, a hashtag or any kind of tag, let's say compared to a Metallica show to Powerwolf. Powerwolf is a small European band, right? That just barely made it to like the American scene, right? Compared to like Metallica, which is worldwide. If you look for stuff like Metallica shows, even if it's in the Los Angeles one that just happened, you're gonna see thousands upon thousands of pictures of that show, right? Whereas like compared to like the Powerwolf one, which was at the Wiltern, it's gonna be more like maybe hundreds, right? So that's how the guy found me. I don't even know what, I didn't even tell him. Like, I was like, should I say his name or something? I don't think he would care, as long as I don't give him like his whole everything, right? But anyways, he found me through there, and you know, we talked a little bit. It was just mainly, you know, he wasn't a perv or anything. I think that's why I was like okay with going out on a date with him, because he wasn't pervy to me, even though he knows I had like a perverted sense of humor. And you know, it was kind of like he knew how to meet that line but not like cross it either. So it was just, you know, he was very respectful from day one. And you know, we were just talking like a month ago, and we were just talking more around that time, and he just straight out forward. And I think that's why I went on a date with him, because he didn't do the typical bullshit, was like, oh, let's hang out, and then it turns out to be a date, right? And then he just like, no, he's straight out. Well, okay, first it just started like that. He's like, yeah, we should hang out. I was like, okay, cool. And then finally he's like, do you want to just make this into a date? And I think that's where he like earned my respect. And trust me, I'm not a person who gives out respect that easily. I have social anxiety, and then I don't like the human race. I have, especially, you know, I've had bad situations with men in my life, from like family to like, you know, even my dating life, obviously. So he earned my respect right away. So he was kind, you know, and I was open with him, you know, don't expect anything on the first date, and he was totally fine with it. You know, that's the one thing a lot of people don't know, is like, you gotta put your boundaries like right away, so they could know that. And they have a problem with it, don't bend those boundaries whatsoever. And that's with anyone that you date. Like, do not, if they're making you feel guilty, if you feel guilty, you're not in the wrong, okay? There's no reason you should feel guilty for whatever boundary you're setting. Then, you know, so hopefully you guys take that advice. You know, I want you guys to be in a healthy situation, okay? So you know, we got that out of the way. So he lives in the next county, so it's like, it would be on a good day, a 45-minute drive, but you know, depending on traffic and everything. But anyways, let's just say 45-minute drive or whatever, right? We decided to meet up in Hollywood. Now the good thing is, because we both love the same music, and that's how we talked, and we started talking or whatever, I was like, well, let's go to Amoeba. So, you know, the good thing is we live, like, you know, I live in Los Angeles and he lives, you know, close to like the next county over. We met there in good old Hollywood. So we met there and we were just looking at stuff. I didn't buy it, neither did he, but it was just a good location to meet and to like at least look at the bands and like talk about it. And what's so good about like dating another metalhead is like, he introduced me to new bands, and then I introduced him to new bands, and you know, that's like the little hair. So that was like the good thing about it. So I felt like I was learning something, you know. And also, like, I've been in a slump with metal music lately, which is everything going on in my life. I felt like he was kind of like waking me up again with it, right, to new bands and everything, or even revisiting some bands I haven't listened to in a long time. Like, it's like listening to them all over again. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But yeah, so it was like kind of like also like a learning experience, I guess, an educational experience. And I'm a person, when you date me, like, we need a lot of communication. That's just, I'm more into that than the romance kind of stuff. I'm not really into like, I mean, I guess I can be romantic, but it's just, for me, it's like, I like the communication. That's always been like really important to me, and he was really good at that. We went, and for dates, you know, and like in Hollywood, in LA, it's a little bit more interesting to go somewhere else other than Denny's or something like that. So we went to Trejo's Tacos. It's okay. I mean, I like the food. It's just, you know, when you're Mexican like me, you taste better than that, you know, even though it's run by Danny Trejo, but it's just like, it was cute, you know, you know, I don't regret going there. I do like Trejo's donuts a lot though. Have you guys been there? Oh my God, it's so worth it. We would have gone there, but they closed early, like at 4, and we met up like at 2:30. So, but yeah, so we did that, and then eventually, you know, what else is around there that's like metal related? The Rainbow Bar and Grill. So that was even perfect. We went over there and just had a couple of drinks there. I'm not a person who likes to like eat or drink, especially a lot when I'm on a date or anything, or even when I'm out there. I really don't. If I'm gonna overdo it with drinking, I'd rather do it at home. I'd rather do it like that. I'd rather just be a drunk in my room where it's safe at least. I'm not the type who likes to drink a lot out there, and then it's just like finding a bathroom and everything. It's just, you know, it's crazy people out there, you know. So, you know, and we were just, you know, he was showing me pictures from Walking Fest and all that. And I was showing him pictures, you know, from when I went to go meet the dance and everything in the UK. So it was just, you know, it was a great experience and everything. And then like he made it cute too, because like I didn't know, I knew Motley Crue stayed near the Rainbow Bar and Grill when they were you know, just getting into the scene or whatever. I just didn't know where it was at. So they call it like the Motley Crue home. I think that's what he said. He was like, if you want, our first kiss could be right in front of there. I was like, okay. I was like, so that was like really romantic right there. Well, I just thought it was really cute how he planned it all out. So so yeah, that was our first kiss right there. So no, that's not where he gave me the hickey. So it was a really cute date, and I think it was like the one that meant to me the most, because a lot of the dates I felt like were just kind of lazy or just like rushed, or, you know, let's just do it, you know. It was always like that. Like this actually felt like a date, you know what I mean? And, you know, I mean, I think besides from that, like, I mean, I've dated guys who like maybe liked metal, but it wasn't like their whole scene or something like that. But it was always just like, you know, dinner and a movie or whatever. So I'm not, you know, it's just this one was so unique and so my style. And you know, and then we went on a second date too, and this time we were more around my area, you know. Okay, scratch that, it was around my area because he did want to go to the beach, but however, I always wanted a cemetery date, so we went to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. That was awesome. It's funny because I wanted to kiss him there, but he got sidetracked by turtles. There's like a big old pond there, that's why, and then there's like swans and like turtles, and I think that's it. I think those are the only animals there. I might be wrong. Ducks, obviously. And I was like funny because I was gonna tell him like, oh, let's kiss over here, and then like all of a sudden when I was about to say that, he was like, oh shit, turtles. I was like, so I let him take his pictures of the turtles and stuff. But yeah, Ethan, if you're seeing this, hi. But yeah, and then he does know about my channel. He obviously found out about it when he first followed me in March, so way before we, you know, were talking that much or anything. So I mean, at first I felt a little weird because he watched my stuff, and I was like, oh, I never went on a date with somebody who's watched my stuff before, unless I like met them through, you know, and became friends through or something like that, right? Through what we do on YouTube. If that made sense. I don't know if that made sense. But anyways, that was just my experiences compared to like, you know, dating normies mostly of my life. I liked it. I want to keep it there, to tell you the truth. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little, I've always never really wanted to date metalheads. I think I've mentioned this before, just because, you know, they have a particular type, like they're into the goth girls, and I'm not goth, and I'm not going to change anything. And I know I've been told by like some Gen Xers, like I guess in their generation, like I was like, you know, they kind of had like the big blonde hair, like almost think of like the video vixens, you know, they're more on the glamorous side. Not all of them were blonde, obviously. Like Bobby Jean Brown, she's a good example. So I guess I would be more like their type from back in those days, but I don't really go for older men anymore. So I kind of, all of a sudden the 20-year-olds are after me. So yeah, the guy was 26 and I'm 35, by the way. But it was a great date, you know. It was, you know, the guy was mature and everything and had his shit together, and I was just surprised he paid, because I'm usually the one who like pays for myself. So I was like in shock. I was like, oh, or sometimes I have to pay for them. Oh yeah, I've been a sugar mama before, and they were like my age. So, but it was definitely like I'm open to it more. I mean, I'll admit, like in the past, like I never really wanted to date them just because like they had no interest in me. Sometimes when you meet metalheads, and I'm pretty sure this is even within like the friendship group or just a social group, it's like you kind of feel like you have to prove yourself to them. And let's face it, if you're especially dating like the thrasher side, oh my god, they're all fucking like drunks. So it's like they just want to drink and party. It's like, dude, I'm all for like the aesthetic and everything, but I'm kind of over the days where I'm like smoking and like, I mean, I'm talking about cigarettes. I never did weed. I never gave a fuck about weed. I'm sorry, but no offense if you're a stoner. Just I've been surrounded by like douchebag stoners and I don't like them. No offense, but you know, but I used to smoke like cigarettes and like cigars and stuff like that. And then like I'm just like I'm over that, you know. I mean, I still drink. Don't get me wrong. I'll have my little sip of Jack Daniels at night, but I just don't make it into a habit. Is what I'm saying. But I gotta take care of that liver. But I think that was what was really cool about this guy too. He liked the party, but he wasn't like, you know, like I'm gonna be a total fucking mess all the time, you know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, so it was a positive experience, and it did make me want to open the doors to like maybe date more metalheads and stuff like that. It was more of a positive experience than I thought. I mean, he did warn me too. He was like, oh, you know, just to warn you, if you date more metalheads and stuff like that, if you have a falling out, you might see them around in other shows. I hardly bump into people outside, so I highly doubt that's gonna happen. So it's like, and even so, I'm like really good at ignoring people. I do it all the time, so it's not really gonna bother me. So anyways, that was my little experience with, you know, going on a date with a metalhead. Maybe one day I'll do an update version of like dating a metalhead versus a non-metalhead, like do a little skit. I've been wanting to do that, and the last one I did on that, I put it on private because, you know, my friend, the guy who used to be my friend, was in it, so I just put it on private. So yeah, maybe one day I'll update it. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share that. I'll see you guys later, and take care of your vaginas. Have a wonderful day. Bye.